In today's episode, you'll learn unconventional ways to make money podcasting. I'm sure you've seen a lot of advice out there about how to monetize a podcast. Most of them have to do with selling ads or sponsorships. I'm here to tell you that's not the case. You don't have to make money podcasting by having a huge audience so you can sell ads or sponsorships. In fact, you can monetize your podcast no matter how large your audience is. So with that in mind, here are 6 creative ways that you can make money podcasting. Strategy number 1 is to bundle your back catalog. If you've had your podcast for a while, let's say at least 100 or even 200 episodes, you can pull some of those old episodes off your feed, bundle them, and then sell them on your website. If you think about it, listeners may not want to scroll through your back catalog to find episodes that they may want to listen to. It's kind of like looking for a needle in a haystack. So by bundling your back catalog, you're making it easy for listeners to be able to listen to those episodes that they may love the most. And guess what? Even if they have to pay for it, they'll thank you. The second strategy is to do voiceovers. There are tons of people and companies out there who would happily pay you to narrate their intro, videos, or even audiobooks. So you can use your podcast as a portfolio. Now, bonus points, you can go ahead and do what's called a demo reel. And what that simply means is you do voices for different emotions or types of scenarios. So for example, maybe you can do a demo reel for a comical voice, a serious voice, an angry voice, or even a sad voice. You can put those demo files on your own website, or you can go to other ones like voices.com or backstage.com where you can create a profile to get different voiceover gigs. The next strategy is to produce other podcasts. Now, there are lots of people and companies out there who would love your expertise to help create a professional show. To get started, it's really important to build awareness for what it is that you do. So, for example, I started by putting podcast producer on my LinkedIn profile. And then I went into different Facebook groups and just commented and made my presence known and that I was a podcast producer and looking for gigs. And you can definitely do the same thing. You may be surprised at how many people will be interested in your services. The fourth strategy is to sell premium episodes. So don't think of this as Patreon. Instead, it can be a bonus episode or a one-off episode that you can sell on your website. As for how to price it, that's totally up to you. As an example, one of my favorite audio dramas, Wooden Overcoats, creates a Halloween special and a Christmas special each year for sale on their website. So as soon as you pay, you can download that episode and enjoy. Strategy number 5 is to sell content upgrades. So what I mean by that is to create a small download or product that your listeners can buy that's related to an episode on your podcast. So for example, if you have a knitting podcast and you have an episode all about knitting patterns for cats that you can put on sweaters, you can sell a PDF of these knitting patterns so that listeners can buy it and listen along to the episode and learn how to knit cats on sweaters. And the final strategy is to host an event. Hosting a virtual event is pretty easy. All you need is Zoom, some way for your audience members to pay, and then off you go. Some examples of virtual events that you can host include coffee chats where your listeners ask you questions and you answer them, or even something where you're doing behind the scenes recording and you want your audience to get a sneak peek of what you're doing. An alternative is to host in-person events, and this is especially useful if you know there are lots of listeners in your area who would love to come to an in-person event. You can also go to other cities by looking at your podcast hosting service and checking up the stats to see which cities your listeners are tuning in from the most. You can then consider planning an event in those cities. For more ideas, check out this video that Botter did on ways to make money podcasting in 2022. I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep podcasting.